On this episode, we have part 2 of our latest trip review, and today we're discussing the Flavors of Florida Chef Series, lunch at Yak and Yeti, our Geyser Point Meet-Up, and finally, breakfast at Cape May Cafe. Today is August 4th, 2023. This is episode 588 of the Main Street Magic Podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts. Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I'm your host, Jeremy Stein, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda.
Hey, guys.
Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at mainstmagic. If you're not done so already, head out to Facebook and search for the Main Street Magic community and ask to join. If you're planning that trip to Disneyland or Walt Disney World, you did not get the advanced dining reservation you wanted at 60 days out, do not worry. Mouse Dining removes the frustration of booking Disney dining reservations, alerting you when they spot availability for your desired restaurant, date, meal, and time. You can visit msmfriends.com to use this free service.
So we are finishing our trip from last week and talking about the rest of our trip, basically, and our meetup and more food and all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah, so we were recording both of these episodes on Sunday when we got home, both Tuesdays and Fridays, because we are heading back down on Thursday for our Fort Wilderness Adventure in Camper Adventure Rentals. We're super excited about that. Girls are going with us. They're each bringing a friend. I'm really excited to spend some time with them and hang out. And this will be our third week in a row. And then we are home for a little bit of August, which will be very nice. I've really enjoyed these trips, but it will be nice to be home, I think.
We need to do things around the house.
We do. So one thing, if you go back and listen to last episode, which I recommend you do, where we talked all about basically our Thursday of that trip. We cover food and wine, Boulder Ridge Villas. We talk about our dinner at Akershus. After we stopped recording, realized that we were missing a princess at Akershus.
Yes, there was
Who was
5,
that? Yeah.
and it was Belle because I showed her my rose.
Yeah, it all of a sudden just hit me, and I was like, wait. Because I knew somebody was missing.
I thought so. I
5
thought
princesses.
So too. Yep.
It was awesome. So first thing we're going to talk about was Friday morning. We were really interested in checking out this Flavors of Florida Chef Series that they're doing at Disney Springs. Every Friday at 10:30. It is hosted by our friend Mark Daniel.
Yes.
And on the Friday that we were going to be down here was going to be the creator and owner of Gideon's Bakehouse, Steve Lewis.
Yeah.
We're like, that would be super cool to check out. There's one more left, which is actually today when this episode comes out on August 4th. And it is some of the culinary team from Disney Springs. But they've had everybody from Jose Andres to Art Smith. And all of those were on the stage area right there next to Boathouse. And they were all cooking demos.
Yes.
And I'm excited for next year because I want to catch a cooking demo next year.
Yeah.
But this one was going to be a little bit different. And registration is free, but you do have to register. They release it like 24 to 36 hours before the event, and it goes very, very quick. Now, we had Mark's awesome wife, Barbara, was giving us a heads up and said, I think registration's going, any minute, basically. And honestly, by the time I checked again, I checked like 15 minutes later, I checked again, and it had gone live and it was full. So, in fact, it did so well that they moved it from that area next to Boathouse inside the covered area near Chicken Guy, that big covered walkway area with all the shops in there, the brick and all. And that's where they actually set it up. They set up a stage and some TVs and we're going to go ahead and do it there. So we're like, well, shoot, we didn't get in. And luckily, we were very, very thankful Mark was able to get us in.
Yep.
And so we were able to check this out. And even cooler was we got to sit in the media section right up front because everything else was standing room only.
And Scott and Michelle, which was great.
Our new friend Greg.
Yeah,
it was the second time we met him. He's hilarious.
Yeah,
love him.
He's awesome.
So yeah, we're gonna sit there with Scott and Michelle from the Main Street Mouse and Barbara and Greg and all, and we got to watch this. And so normally there'd be a 30-minute basically cooking demonstration, and then they do like 30 minutes of Q&A, both just ones that Mark has already gotten together, and then some audience Q&A that's been submitted beforehand when you do your reservation online for that. So since he can't bake because it takes like 24 hours to make these cookies, he basically made a slideshow and went through the history of kind of his life and Gideon's. I took a ridiculous amount of notes. If
You did.
anybody would like all of them, feel free to email me or hit
Mhm.
me up on social, and I'll be happy to share all of them. I found this absolutely fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Not
It was.
only from just watching somebody, build a business, but build a brand, but kind of follow a dream. He basically started as a vocal music major and trained guitar and piano player,
Mm-hmm.
and started touring at the age of 14. Has helped create 11 original albums, like his original music and all.
It's amazing.
And then he had surgery on his hand. It damaged a nerve, and he couldn't play anymore.
Right.
And I guess all through his growing up, baking was like his stress reliever,
Yes.
which neat to hear. So he started to kind of just decide what to do. And because of that, he just started baking more and more. But he also was really into comics and stuff and music, obviously. So he actually opened a shop called, what was it? Unerbot, I think, or Uberbot. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and this was like a design culture store, and it was designer toys and fashion and comics and all that type of stuff. And that's where he first kind of started creating like characters and doing branding.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of where this would come out of, because the economy crashed. He lost his business,
Lost everything.
basically.
His apartment, everything.
Yeah, everything. And so he
sad.
started baking, and he was revisiting his chocolate chip cookie recipe that he started back when he was 14. He kept reworking it. He kept adding more. The cookies kept getting bigger and bigger,
Mm-hmm.
because he didn't want just your standard chocolate chip cookie. He really wanted something different.
And I love how he said too that he didn't want your normal crispy cookies.
Yep.
Like he wanted something soft, and I was like, yes, because that's me.
Yeah.
Like I don't like a cookie that's crunchy. Really.
Only ones I like are those Tate's cookies. Those are good. And they're
I don't
super
even know if
country.
I've really eaten those.
Oh, really? They're delicious.
But yeah, so
They
I
don't
was
beat a Gideon's cookie.
yeah, I was excited that he was saying that he was looking at doing this, and I was like, oh.
And I mean, literally, he started selling cookies out of his house.
Mm-hmm.
He created a logo
Mm-hmm.
and started creating some branding. He still does all the photography himself for Gideon's, which I thought was super cool.
Yeah.
And he then basically got a job at Apple while he was doing this as a trainer.
Yeah.
And he would bring in his cookies and test them out on his coworkers.
Yep.
And that was like his first, kind of, I guess, crowdsourcing in a way. And he said still today sometimes he'll either run into, or old employees from there will contact him and like talk about that and just how cool that was and all. So other thing he wanted to do was make his cookies like rich but not overly sweet.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool too, because he said, don't say something on like social media about, oh, I just got diabetes, because he said he'll give you a 5-paragraph
that was funny.
page that is no, it's not.
Said they actually do not use a lot of sugar in their
which
cookies.
Is crazy. Cool.
So he basically started an Instagram account in 2013, created a website, started working on limited edition cookies, and then started cakes. And like his goal was to make a true red velvet cake, like traditional icing and everything, the way they do it in the South. He started out, I thought this was interesting. He actually started out boxing all of his cookies individually. And he was like, it was just a dumb idea because it was expensive and it was very time consuming.
Mm-hmm.
And then ended up at a MegaCon selling cookies. So starting to gain kind of some traction and stuff. I thought this was super interesting because their peanut butter cold brew is like one of the most popular things there.
Mm-hmm.
It took him 7 years to create it.
Mm-hmm.
He had never drank coffee when he started creating it.
Mm-hmm.
And what I liked is he said he has found that people who like coffee like this, and people who don't like coffee like this,
right?
Which is that amazing like medium. So he actually had I can't remember her name. I think it was Ashley. She was sitting in front of us that helped run like the East End Market and book people in shops and stuff. There was a bakery that closed down there, and they had retired, basically the family. So there was an open area, and she started doing pop-ups in there. So a baker or whoever would come in for 1 month, they'd have the shop, and then they'd basically would leave. So at this point, he has $800 to his name. Like that's it. And he thought, I'm going to get ahead of the game for that month. He made 3 weeks worth of dough for his cookies. He sold out the first day, I think he said by 1 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
He made $30,000 in profit, and then turned around and spent $27,700 building his first store at the East End in 2016.
That's amazing.
So a couple little other things, because again, I'm not going to go through all of it, but that I thought was cool. The chandelier in the East End is actually previously from the Haunted Mansion, which was cool. He didn't say how he got it, but then yeah, he started dating someone seriously and was like, I need to make more money. And so he literally went to Disney, and over several years it took this with Disney trying to kind of get in there. And he started with, he doesn't do wholesale cookies, but he actually started with Polite Pig. They were selling his chocolate chip cookies.
Mm-hmm.
He would basically sell them to them. They would sell them to customers, and they were selling out like crazy. And that's when everything changed, because Disney Food Blog went to Polite Pig, got a cookie, posted it on their social media, and he said it just blew up.
That's so cool.
So 3-year process it was with Disney, and they called it Project Corinne. And they kind of did a rough layout. They actually presented it at Disney. I'm assuming he was being serious. It was a Lego set of the store that they had built. And it was like the most crude Lego set you've ever seen. It was so simple.
Yeah.
Like one row of blocks around it and a couple people. And then literally in one of the areas, it had a Lego toilet.
Yeah.
Which I thought was funny. But he had all these things going on. So they wanted to open the soft opening the week of Christmas 2019 going into 2020. And literally, he said they did all of the setup and interior design in one weekend. They opened. I mean, they became just an absolutely huge hit that they are today.
Mm-hmm. And, everybody, if you've been to Disney Springs and Gideon's, you know the line is usually long, and then they'll cut it off, and then they'll do a virtual queue. Well, the day he opened, the line literally went from Gideon's, and if you know where it is, basically almost to Chicken Guy.
Yeah, it went down past Chicken Guy because the line literally went through the space we were sitting in.
Right.
So it was nuts, and he had a walkthrough video, and I thought this was so funny. So Mark and his wife Barbara were out there on opening day, and he said he looks over at this guy because he's got really long hair, but he like had it up in like a beanie.
Yep.
He's got black rim glasses. He's wearing a black t-shirt, black jeans, black shoes, a black jacket over top of the t-shirt. Like, he's very artsy looking and all, obviously. And Mark said to Barbie, he's like, that guy's somebody. Let's go get a photo with him. And then they found out that it's Steve, the owner. Yeah. And that was opening day of the Disney Springs one. So thought that was cool. A couple more things we'll cover, and then we'll move on from the Q&A. So somebody had asked first he said, yeah, all the books in the location are real. They're all Victorian era books. They're either from his personal collection that he grew up with and had, or, they went out and bought them and all. And he found a book from 1898. It was about a boy who wanted to be a baker whose name was Gideon. And so he said, I wanted to share that kid's story from this book. And that's why it's called Gideon's Bakehouse. And that's why it says established in 1898, even though it wasn't. He does not I thought this was, he hates the hot cookies.
Yeah.
He hates hot cookie hour.
Yeah.
He thinks they're meant to be eaten at room temperature. But at the East End, they used to, if you came in and asked, they would bake you a cookie fresh. It would come out hot and put a scoop of vanilla ice cream on it. And it was just so popular, but they just couldn't keep up with it. Yeah. They couldn't do it all the time. So that's why they're doing it again now at Disney Springs. They do it between 2 and 3 and 7 and 8. What do you do with your leftovers of Gideon's, Rhonda?
Well, I don't even think I knew this.
First of
they
all,
need to be airtight.
How did you end up with
days.
Leftovers from Gideon's?
Well, if you buy quite a few cookies and take them home.
This is true.
Rachel has always told us we could freeze them.
Yep.
I've just left them in the box. I've never next
time we need to bring them home and put them in Ziploc bags, airtight or Tupperware or something.
And then, but then for 3 days, he basically said, don't go longer than 3 days. Then on the third day, go ahead and freeze them if you're not going to eat them.
Yep.
And then when you freeze them, and then when you're ready to eat them, just pull them out and let them come to room temperature and just eat them.
Yeah.
So
we're going to try and get over there, I think, Thursday on our way down.
Yeah.
While we're waiting for our site and the setup and all. And we'll see if we can't get into Gideon's and stuff.
Absolutely.
It'd be cool if he was there to see him there and just say hello and be like, that was fascinating last week, because we didn't get to talk to him or anything. I liked his advice to aspiring bakers. He said, don't listen to advice. And then he gave advice, and it's basically just be who you are, do what you want. And that's exactly what he did, and sure worked out for him. I like this too. I think this was the question that actually came from our friend Greg our now friend Greg. He said, what's the history of the cat on all the merch? And I found this so interesting because he said, if there's not a name to the character, there's no story behind it. So the cat
Yet.
doesn't have a name. Yeah, and he said yet. But the cat doesn't have a name, therefore it doesn't have a story.
Right.
And he just loves cats. He loves all animals.
Yes.
Said basically his flavor inspirations come from just his palate and experiencing. He just feels like it's kind of a storytelling. He wants to tell a story with all his cookies and with the design and the art and all that. As far as this was funny. Somebody said, how far in advance do you choose monthly flavors and characters? And he had his whole team there and they all just started laughing out loud.
Yeah, they did.
Because apparently they try and plan out an entire year, but last minute often he'll just change things. Like whatever he's kind of like feeling, which was interesting too. Actually won an international design award. Like he does Make-A-Wish with young bakers, which I thought was really cool. Yep. But overall, I mean, like whether you're a fan of Gideon's or you've ever had it or not, I just thought it was such a cool story, you know, of somebody who is on their way to one thing, being a professional musician and all that comes crashing down. They then open a shop doing something else they love. That comes crashing down. They finally find their true calling and build it into what it is today. I mean, now they have 180 employees.
Yeah, that's right. And it started with him.
Yeah. And it's neat because he truly seems like one of those. And he had this, I can't remember it. I should have written it down. He has this crazy long title he puts on his business card. But you could just tell from him talking that he doesn't walk into a Gideon's and people are like, oh God, the owner's here. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
They're like, hey, Steve, what's up? And he's like, hey, he knows their name probably. What's up? And it's like, they all seemed equal.
Yeah.
I just was fascinated by him. I thought it was so cool. So that was
It was
Friday
super cool
morning.
because we also got a taste.
Yes.
A little kind of almost pie-shaped cut of a cookie, and it was the key lime and chocolate.
Yeah, their flavor of the month one.
So good.
It was delicious.
So good. I wanted to go over there, but you know, and even Mark was joking like, yeah, you can't go now because
I know.
You know, it would just be very long. So I'm very, very excited to get over there Thursday when we go and let the girls
we'll
shop
pop it. We'll go there first. We'll see what virtual queue or whatever looks like. We'll get in it. And then, we'll go shop. And we're thinking about doing like, you know, the Dole Whip flight for the kids because we did that last year with them. And that'll be super fun.
Whatever they want to do. Yeah. Like, we'll see. We'll find
so then after this, we had lunch. We met back up with Chuck and Amy and we had lunch plans at 2:35 over at Yak and Yeti. But basically every week after this, Mark and Barbara and Greg and Scott and Michelle all go to lunch. So they're like, do you guys want to go to lunch? And we're like, well, you know, we've got plans, but we can come hang out, have a drink. You guys eat. We'll just hang out for a little bit before we head over there. So where did we go? And it was very hard not to eat.
Yeah, we actually, well, first we were going to go to City Works, they said, but then I don't remember who said Polite Pig, and they all agreed Polite Pig. So we went over there, and that was super fun because we sat and hung out and had a drink. And then we had to go and get to Yak and Yeti.
Yeah.
So we did that.
And it's funny, this is the first time we've scanned into a park after 2 p.m. without a reservation since they changed it.
That's right.
Now, we had a reservation for Epcot, and we knew we weren't going to use it, but we had a Cosmic Rewind. So I didn't want to cancel the Epcot and then redo one for Animal Kingdom to get in prior to 2.
Right.
Just because we would lose our Cosmic, and we didn't know if we were going to make it over there or not. We really didn't know. Yeah. We thought maybe we could have, but we obviously weren't going to beforehand. So we arrived at about 2:02, and obviously no issue scanning in.
It was,
and we
great.
caught a lift.
Yes.
And did that, and we went ahead and took that. One thing I forgot to mention last episode is we did end up having to wait a little bit for one of the buses at Boulder Ridge. That's when we took the Uber, and they've completely changed the drop-off point. I don't know if the pickup point is the same over at Epcot.
Oh yeah, that was
because the pickup point, the drop-off and pickoff point used to be right there, just beyond the buses to the right.
The construction that they're
doing. It may be, yeah, because they're doing a lot of construction there, so they're dropping you off way over near like Guardians, basically area.
Yep.
So just something to note, but yeah, went ahead and took a lift over there because now we're like, we got to make this reservation.
Yeah.
But yeah, got in. We got to sit at Yak and Yeti. There are a couple reasons we want to do this. One, Chuck and Amy had never done the ahi tuna.
Correct.
Nachos. We're like, you got to do it.
Yep.
2, we joined Landry's back during our anniversary.
Yep.
We had our initial $25 reward. We actually still have a $25 reward for Rhonda's birthday. You are not allowed to use multiple rewards at the same time. But I've been using the Fetch app for the past several months to scan all my receipts, and it gives you points. When you earn a certain number of points, you trade it in for a gift card, digital gift card. They have a Landry's gift card.
Nice.
So I traded in for $25. So we had $50.
Yeah.
Chuck and Amy had joined Landry's. They had $25 for them.
Yep.
So like, let's go. We haven't been in a while. And so that was a lot of the reason that we decided to go. But why don't you run through real quick our normal bulletin points, and then we will talk about what we dined on.
All right. Well, Yak and Yeti is located in Asia in Animal Kingdom. This is American, Asian, Chinese, and seafood. It is a unique and themed dining. You do get 10% off your pass holder, but because we were Landry's, we took that because you're going to get a lot more off.
Yeah, you can't combine offers. Correct. Basically.
Your lunch runs from 10:30 a.m. to 4:40 p.m. Dinner runs from 4:45 p.m. to 6:50 p.m.
Yeah,
because Animal Kingdom closes early.
Yeah, 7. We absolutely love this place. It is a hustle bustle. It is always packed. The lobby waiting area is going to be filled. There are going to be people outside. It's nuts. There's 5 bar stools, so if you want to just walk up, chances are limited. We were standing there, and a lady walked in. I think there was a group of 4. And I heard her be like, "Oh, we can just grab a seat at the bar." And I wanted to turn and be like, "There's no chance you're grabbing a seat at the bar." And she walked in, looked, and turned right back around and left. We've reviewed this in several past episodes. We've eaten a lot here. Every time we go, we try something new. Except for the ahi tuna nachos.
But this was new.
Yeah. Talk about the ahi tuna nachos.
Because Amy is gluten-free. And with that being said, I was like, ask the guy, like, okay, these nachos, can we get them and them be gluten-free? So what he did, they are $21.99, but it's expensive, but it says
mint for 2.
Yes, it is. It's shareable.
4. It's easy 4, though.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So he said, I'll just do it and put all the tuna stuff on top. And then on the side, he put the crispy fried wontons and then a sweet soy glaze that must have had gluten in them. I know the wontons.
Yeah, he said specifically because it's the soy sauce that it had gluten in it. And so for Chuck and Rhonda and I, it was kind of like just build our own nachos. So we'd put chips on our plate. We'd take a spoon or a fork, grab some of the topping, which was now basically like a bowl, like an ahi tuna bowl, and we would just put it on top and just eat them. And then Amy was able to just eat the bowl portion.
And she loved it.
Yeah,
said it was great. When we were doing Anyone Can Cook, Rachel also said that if you do not like tuna, you can get chicken put on it.
I'd actually really like to try that next time.
That would be neat. Because her
good.
Mom doesn't like that.
Yeah.
So, and jumping ahead, we had some beef. I wonder if we could be like, can we just get the beef on it?
Probably.
We can
we can always ask next time.
It'll be neat because to go back and you could ask and figure things out.
I even said later, I was saying to you guys, I was like, when we go back, and we're going to get this every time we go back, even if we didn't have somebody that, was allergic to gluten, I would order it this way because it was nice to just build your own nacho, put however many toppings you wanted on it. There was no chance of any wonton getting soggy.
Right.
Sometimes what happens with nachos, because they're layered, you eat everything on top, and then you're like, all I got's chips left now. They're all hiding under here. Well, you didn't have any of that.
Right.
And then it even got down to the end where I couldn't stop myself. I was just taking the chips and dipping them in the soy glaze and eating that.
So good. They're so good.
I absolutely love these things. I don't think you should go and especially now that we know the Rachel hack, if you're not an ahi tuna person, go get these and get them with chicken.
Yeah.
The wasabi cream stuff is so good. The wasabi aioli. I don't love a ton of wasabi, but I like the flavor of it.
Yep.
And this is so perfect. Everything's balanced. The slaw is cool. It balances the spiciness of the wasabi. The tuna is absolutely perfect. Super fresh, just perfectly raw. I love this thing so much. So they do have a special menu, like specialty items they'll bring out. And Amy ordered off of that because they had a shrimp pad thai. And again, she made sure that it could be arranged slightly, whatever was needed. I think there was a sauce on this one as well that needed to be left out for it to be gluten-free. This was, I believe she ended up saying, was like $30.
Okay.
So we both tried
huge.
This. What did you think? First of all, these portions are out of hand.
It was sad because we had some leftovers. Chuck had some leftovers, and then we all had leftovers.
Oh yeah.
Which we even shared and still had leftovers. Yeah. And I think Amy said that they almost should have shared too because
I think
of
now
how
they
big
know,
it was.
like, look at these portion sizes.
So this pad thai was fantastic. again, and literally jumping ahead, I ended up eating it the other night.
Yeah, last
night.
Yeah, because they went out to dinner at Trattoria Al Forno, and she was like, "We're not going to take it home. We're not going to have time to eat it. You guys feel free to,
and I
eat
did
it for your dinner." You sure did, and it was just as good.
So good.
This is to me is a perfect pad thai. If you know the flavors of pad thai, this is it. Nice, big, perfectly cooked shrimp. The noodles are perfectly like al dente. Everything with it. I loved this dish. This is one I would get myself like going back. I think it was so freaking good.
And Chuck got, which they have under noodles and bowls, like all kinds of lo mein combo, chicken, shrimp, vegetable, seafood curry, roasted vegetable bowl.
I want to do the Malaysian seafood curry. It's $35.99, but it's jumbo shrimp and crab ravioli, zucchini, spinach, tomatoes. I could probably get it without mushrooms, tossed in a red curry coconut sauce.
I bet that's fantastic.
That sounds outstanding.
Yeah.
I wonder if it comes over white rice or brown rice or anything. Or you could just get a side. That would be good. I want that next time.
Well, he opted for the Dragon Roll Bowl for $27.99. It's spicy tuna. It's dynamite crab, teriyaki salmon, cucumbers, edamame, carrots, mango, tempura crunch over sushi rice. And it was neat because it was pretty, because it was like your spicy tuna was over here, your dynamite crab was here, your edamame was in this little pile.
The colors were beautiful.
It was. So he could have totally like mixed it and everything. He didn't really at first, but
then I think started to mix it up a little bit more.
And he loved it. Said it was great. He wasn't gonna get it because of this the nachos we got.
Yeah.
But he was asking like how different it was, and so he was like, you know what, I think I'm gonna get it, and he said it was great.
Yeah.
Now there was a very large, like he likes wasabi, and
there was a ton of wasabi in there. There was a
lot of wasabi in there.
Yeah, there really was.
But not a problem. You can just move it, put it.
Yeah. We did not try this one, but again, he loved it. It looks super fresh. Yep. This is, it's like, it's like a roll just blew up.
Yep.
A deconstructed roll, I guess. And again, giant portion, huge bowl, very, very shareable.
Yes.
And I think in the future they probably would. So I'd already kind of eyeballed some things, and I thought for Rhonda, and I was like, well, we can split an entree, and then there's a side dish that I want. Let's talk first actually about the side dish. We'll start there because this was amazing. And where I had to say, Rhonda, you're going to hurt yourself. You have to stop eating it.
And I wanted to.
After you kept saying you were done.
Yeah. And I wanted to actually get this to go.
Yeah.
And now I have another place that I'm super excited. But so on your sides, you have stuff like chicken fried rice, coconut shrimp, green beans, steamed jasmine rice, house fried rice.
I'd like to do the sauteed baby bok choy sometime.
So they also have garlic noodles for $12.99. And I am hard pressed to say that they taste just like Ohana.
Yeah.
They're
pretty similar.
So
they're very, very similar.
Good. Like
these to me have a little bit less of almost either teriyaki or soy type of flavor to them with a little kick of garlic.
Oh.
They're
so
outstanding.
Good.
Perfectly cooked
So
al dente,
good.
and there's nothing to them. It's noodles and like a garlic sauce.
Yeah.
And when it comes in front of you, first of all, you just get punched in the face with garlic in a good way. Almost to the point where I'm thinking, oh, these might be too garlicky, but they're not. The flavor is absolute perfection. This is another one. Like, we need to start making a list of like looking up copycat recipes. This can't be that hard. Like, I want to look it up and see if we can find this and make these one night.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved them.
Yeah.
And then decided to pair that with a Korean beef for $24.49. This is wok fried beef, peppers, onions, and pineapple with a Korean barbecue sauce. You can get it with either white rice or brown rice. We went with brown rice because I think it's supposed to be healthier, but honestly, I don't know.
Yeah.
So
It was
Chuck
fine,
and Amy
though.
said it was because it's like more the natural rice as
Right.
opposed to things they do to it to make it white rice or something. I don't
Bleach
know,
it or
but
something. I don't know.
What did you think? I mean,
It was
good.
I
think out of everything, this was probably lowest on the totem pole, but it was still very delicious.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was really good. I really enjoyed the beef. I really enjoyed the peppers and onions. I did not eat the pineapple. But the noodles were so good by itself. I almost didn't want to eat them together.
Yeah.
So there was, it was really good though. And I would totally get this again.
I would too. Yeah, I would too. They also do a sweet and sour chicken and a honey chicken that are both under the wok.
Which I would love because I love honey chicken.
Yeah,
so
I would like
that's
to try
something
that.
I would probably get the next time.
Yeah. It had the slightest bit of spice from the Korean barbecue sauce and the beef, but then it was balanced well with the sweetness from the bell peppers and the pineapple, because of course I did eat the pineapple, which went very well with it. We actually combined the leftover noodles, the leftover rice and Korean beef into one take-home container and heated that up and ate that last night as well. So we did some waves.
So good.
I didn't eat a ton of leftovers. I ran out of my frickin' Prilosec, so my heartburn was killing me yesterday, so I didn't really eat much yesterday in general. But yeah, Rhonda made sure that these leftovers did not go to waste.
Yes.
And it was just absolutely delicious. It was great because we still had a gift card. Our bill came out. It was $74.45. So we already had $50 from the $25 reward and the $25 gift card. So after those, we basically had a $25 balance that I put on our Disney gift card. It's one of those things where
that was nice.
It felt free, even though I know it wasn't.
Yeah.
So just had to tip our cast member, Sean. He was outstanding, by the way, especially because I felt like such a pain because I'm like, all right, we have this rewards. Here's my Landry's card. I said, I have this digital gift card. And he's like, just write down the number on the receipt. I'll go take care of it. I'm like, then whatever's left, we want to pay with this gift card. And like, he had to come back with like 5 receipts, the poor guy, the way he had to keep doing them. Then he had to explain everything to me. So basically what it came down to is I just had to leave the tip is what it felt like.
Yeah.
But he was so good, especially with the gluten stuff. I mean, and that's what Disney's amazing about is sometimes you can get at maybe other places, you try and talk about an allergy and they're kind of just like, yeah, I'm not really sure. And they're not really helpful. He immediately was like, I know this, but let me check on everything else.
Yeah.
He's like, I know the wontons aren't gluten friendly.
Right.
Let me go ask the chef about the sauces.
Yeah.
And comes back out and lets us know and just, he was great.
Yep.
So really enjoyed him.
Yes.
So that was Friday afternoon. We then went ahead and we're heading back to Boulder Ridge pretty much. You got your ice cream.
I did.
From the ice cream truck though.
We did. And so did Amy, and she got the swirl and I got just vanilla with a waffle cone, and it was fantastic. I loved it. I did ask if the waffle cone was gluten-free. They said no. There's gluten and soy in it. But Jeremy made a really good point to maybe not have like gluten-free cones, but maybe some like you make and you chop them all up and then they can pour some on top for gluten friendly.
Yeah, because and this comes in a perfect example I didn't mention earlier about Steve with Gideon's, because Amy told us this. He's been asked in the past, like, why don't you make gluten-free cookies? And he's like, my cookies are already expensive enough to the consumer. If I start making them gluten-free, first of all, one, they're going to have to be even more expensive. And two, when you're having these fresh cookies, it'd be hard sometimes, I think, to gauge how many do you make and how, and what to do. And I think that's the same thing. They're not going to say, we're going to have dozens of gluten-free waffle cones. And then one person a day orders them and they go stale and they throw them out. But it seems like you could keep in an airtight container, like gluten-free cone crumbles.
Yes.
And then have it sprinkled on top. So little idea for you there.
So
Disney.
if you're listening, Disney, do that.
But we went back to Boulder Ridge and got changed and freshened up because we were doing a Wonderland crew and local friend to meet up down there at Geyser Point around 7 p.m. Friday. With Florida, right now it's almost 7 on Sunday and a storm is whipping in. We knew we were going to be sitting outside in an uncovered area. We're just hoping the weather's going to hold up. And I don't think there's any way we could have had a more perfect night weather-wise.
Oh, it's gorgeous. It was even almost, dare I say, cool.
Yeah.
It was
right there on
amazing.
The water. You get a slight breeze. Josh was working the bar.
Yep.
So we had a bunch of wonderful people that came out and meet up.
April and her whole family.
April and her whole family were so much fun.
So cool.
They're the best.
They were.
They really are.
Her sister was from London.
Yep.
And her parents were, oh gosh, they're all over the map. But Tony was there and Carmelite, and it was so good seeing them hanging out.
Yeah. So. They got this amazing henna done.
Oh my gosh.
We want to look at. It's an outside company she found through Ear for Each Other, the Facebook group. And this was the most detailed, like, characters. It wasn't your normal henna, like, the standard, which you would think of like the Indian henna designs. They literally were doing like Stitch and Muppets, Electric Mayhem.
The bottle she had.
The bottle for Yzma and Emperor's New Groove. It was awesome. Yep. So we got the information we want to look up and maybe price it out and look at doing sometime or something, because they'll come right to your room and everything.
Yeah.
And then Jessica and Landon came out from vacation grocery delivery. Of course, we had Chuck and Amy there. Later, a friend Marcy from Bar Riva came out with her friend, and we had such a good time. We sat out from 7 all the way to Happily Ever After. They pump in the music, and we could see the fireworks over the main lodge.
So cool.
Off in the distance.
Then the water pageant.
Yep. Electrical water pageant came through, and we got to watch that. And it was just a perfect, it was a perfect evening with friends and all. It was so much fun. We really loved it. All right. We're going to wrap up this one. Don't worry. This episode is not an hour and a half like the last one, but we are going to wrap up with Sunday morning breakfast, a Chuck and Amy favorite. Rhonda, where did you finally get to eat? I no longer get to rub this in the future. Yay. I'm both happy and sad.
Oh,
where did you finally get to eat breakfast?
Cape May Cafe.
Yeah.
Yes. This is located at Disney's Beach Club Resort, and it is an Epcot Resort area. This is American and seafood.
Dinner, seafood.
Right. Yeah, because there wasn't any on the breakfast. This is a buffet. This is casual dining and character dining.
Breakfast only.
Yes. Annual pass holders do get your 10% off. Your breakfast times run from 7:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. and dinner runs from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. And your breakfast pricing is $45 per adult plus tax and gratuity, and then $29 per child plus tax and gratuity.
Yeah, what was shocking, because then we were looking at the dinner menu, because of course the crab legs are no longer included with the price of your dinner buffet. They are $29 a pound. They're an extra cost. So I think that's why this price is so low. But you still get for dinner, and of course we're not going to talk about dinner, but I want to go back for it, because you still get the shrimp, you get the New England boil, you get clam chowder, you get a carving station. $46 a person per adult.
Which is only $1 difference, which is
was
so
kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So this was your first time there. Why don't you talk a little bit about this is your first time doing breakfast. We've done dinner there a long time ago. Yeah. But talk about in general the atmosphere and the character interactions and who gets to come around. Who do we get to meet?
Well, it's super cool because it's beach. And very it's weird to see carpet though on the ground in the place with food.
Yeah, that could use a little refresh. Now around the buffet area is not. Right. It's all wood.
Right.
So
but it's super cute, super beachy atmosphere, and I love it. It's great. And we sat in a little booth, and we got to see Minnie, Daisy, Donald, and Goofy. Mm-hmm. And
they're all decked out in their beach attire, which apparently Daisy designed and made.
Yeah.
She told us.
Yeah. She made her dress. I'm assuming.
Yes. Well, Donald acted like, because Amy asked, did Daisy make yours as well? Like his Hawaiian shirt and stuff. And he seemed to say, yes, she did. But again, just wonderful character interactions. And,
absolutely.
And these are the things, and Ron always says, I mean, Disney's a place you can go be a kid as an adult. And these are the perfect opportunities.
I took pictures with all of them.
And that's the thing, these characters could easily kind of come to on a table of 4 grown people and just kind of, hey, what's up? Anybody want a picture? But they interact with you so much, and they respond to whatever you're saying to them. And they spend just as much time at a table with 4 adults that are our age, 40s, to 50, as they do with a table I saw on the other one that had like a 80-year-old grandma, and Goofy sat down next to her and put his arm around her and got a photo, to the family that's got 2 real little kids. Like they spend the same time, and it's amazing.
It is.
The food, let's talk about that, because I can, of course, comment, but you can go back and hear what I thought about it when I did that episode. Yeah. Because I got to go before with Chuck and Amy when, unfortunately, Rhonda, last time she was in Vegas in February. What did you think of the food? What's available on the breakfast buffet? What do they bring to your table?
There's a lot.
Start with that.
There's a lot that they have on the breakfast menu, actually. But what they bring to your table, holy moly, man, is like this salted caramel beach bums. They're buns.
Yeah, they're not butts. They're buns. Could both be the similar. You said bums.
Oh, well. Anyways. And it's served with this like vanilla cream, and they're so super soft. Unfortunately, they are not gluten-free, so Amy could not get any, but they were fantastic. I'm sad that she couldn't, because they are soft and so good. Yeah. And there was one left, so I was like, well, I'm taking it home. I'm going to eat it, or I'm going to let the kids eat it. So
yeah, you take that warm vanilla cream, or that, it's not warm, but the vanilla cream, which is basically like a real thin icing, and drizzle that on top. Yeah, it's kind of, I mean, it's really most similar, I'd say, a salted caramel cinnamon bun, but it doesn't have like the layers that you like when you roll a cinnamon bun. What else did they have? And what was one of your favorite things?
Well, you have some fruits, overnight oats, you have oatmeal, and they had grits. And Jeremy's like, oh, babe, they have grits. And I was
don't
like,
think I tried them last time. I don't believe.
I mean, and a lot of times when you have grits, I feel like on a buffet like that, they're usually just, I hate to say it like this, normal plain grits. That
they're usually like water. A lot of times they're watery.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Stuff,
you're adding salt, you're adding pepper. You want to cover them with cheese. You're throwing a piece of bacon in there or something. Like.
So I literally like scooped it out and I was like, oh my gosh, these are thick and they seem creamy. And then my bite, I was like, holy crap, these are amazing. And really, really close to, if not the same recipe to me as Olivia's grits. Yeah. They were so good. I got 3 freaking helpings.
Yeah.
Like
I tasted yours and I mean, Olivia's are the best grits I've ever had. And I do think these are the same ones. So these are now also the best grits I've ever had.
I got a small, like little in the beginning. Then the second one I did with cheese, and then the third one I did just grits again.
I didn't realize
they
you
were
went back for a third time for
they
them.
were so good.
Yeah.
And then of course you have waffles and Mickey and Minnie.
Yeah.
She had a bow.
Cool.
Waffles and French toast.
French toast was outstanding.
It was really good.
Yeah.
They also though have your allergy waffles for Amy, and she said they were very good. I was gonna eat one to taste the difference, which I have before, and they're really good.
Yeah, you tried hers at Boma, didn't you?
I did.
Because it's the same ones.
Yes, but I just was so full.
Yeah.
But they have this cute little cheddar biscuits and gravy, and that was, you let me taste yours, and I almost went back to get more, but I'm like, no, I think heavy. I want more.
They're little.
Grits.
They're like a $50 size, little round cheddar biscuits. Now the biscuits are a little dense. They're not as flaky as like your normal biscuits and gravy, but the gravy is so flavorful with the sausage in it. It's like your perfect sausage gravy that would go over biscuits. So I really loved it. And with a lot of these, what I like that it's a small biscuit. If that's a full size biscuit, it's too much. It's too much food when you're on a buffet. And we'll talk about that here at the end. We'll kind of 100%. Sum up what we think about buffets.
But you got your normal scrambled eggs, bacon, and sausage. I had all 3 of those.
I didn't do a bacon, but the sausage was super good.
Oh yeah, I got second a sausage too.
Well, so and this is the section I talked about last time, where so it's the bacon, the eggs, and the sausage, but then next to the eggs is also steak and eggs, and it's steaks and onion and peppers, and it's mixed in with their scrambled eggs. Next to that is the warm flour tortillas. And next to that is salsa and shredded cheddar cheese. So
you just make
I always go. So I
tacos.
go and I make a taco. I get the steak and eggs. I then went and actually got some of the little mini home fries. They're real small potatoes, diced potatoes. I put that in there, and then I did my salsa and cheese. Just phenomenal.
Yeah, and Chuck did that too, didn't he?
Yeah, he made one too. Yep.
They have an omelet and a carving station, and meat, ham. And
ham was so good. It was one of the last things I got, so I didn't eat a lot of it. I got a real small piece and only ate about half of it. But it was because I originally had thought of making another taco, and I was going to do scrambled eggs. I was going to get the carving station, put that in there, and then do my salsa and cheese. But I couldn't do it. Couldn't make it to it.
I know, there was a lot. Of course, you have a bunch of little things for the kids too, which is, your Mickey waffles and your, same stuff, basically.
Little chocolate chip pancakes.
Yep.
They had plated and ready to go crepes. And then next to it, they had like a berry compote you could put on it, whipped butter, things like that. So that was really cool. They have potato barrels right there, which I always get a couple of those. They are the most crispy on the outside, but tender on the inside, fluffy tater tots. And
really? I didn't try those. Yeah.
They had little chocolate muffins I saw on the other side. They actually had croissants.
Yep.
Lacey loves croissants. So I was like, I'm just going to get one to try it. I put a little whipped butter on it. Fabulous croissant. Yep. I'm sure that they're getting them from somewhere, but they taste like they were just baked in the back like an hour ago.
Yeah.
So what do you think overall of Cape May Cafe for breakfast? Would you recommend it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. That was fantastic.
You glad you got to go?
Oh, 100%. And I loved all the characters, and that was fun. Of course, it was great company. I was a little tired today because it was a busy
was a busy
fun
weekend.
But yeah, it was great.
I'm
I
glad you
loved
loved
it.
it.
I'd like to do it again.
Yeah. And I think we'll go back for dinner next time. Of course, there
Mhm.
won't be characters there. It's only Minnie's beach bashes at breakfast and stuff, but I would like to go back for the dinner. You know, when you look at something like this with pricing, you know, I always factor in the characters.
Mhm.
You know, you put whatever value you want on them.
Right.
Let's just say characters are worth $10 to come by. Okay,
Right.
well, then it's like you paid $35 for breakfast in a sense, you know? And again, the characters are wonderful. The difference with the buffet and then over at Akershus is because you're getting up and leaving the table, these characters have to kind of be all over the place. So I just would love to know how they're keeping track. And we forgot to mention this too at Akershus, because at one point there was a little bit of a holdup because I think I forget who was in front of Cinderella at the table next to us, but they were spending a lot more time with that little girl. And Cinderella was like, all right, I just got to move on. And she ended up bypassing us and then came back around.
Which is super cool.
Yeah, but right around the end of dinner, before we were getting our check, a manager or somebody came out and had a list and was like, did you see all of the princesses? We're like, yes. He's like, all right, checked off our table. But imagine if we said, no, Cinderella didn't come by yet. She's going to be by there in a few minutes.
Yep.
You know, and
nobody did that this morning.
No, but they're doing something similar. They have some sort of system where if they go to a table and they go, oh, that family has gotten up to go get more food. Nobody's here. I need to be able to come back to it. Was just interesting. I love this. I mean, buffets are still hard to me because you want to make sure you get the value out of what you're paying. And we know that Disney composts, we know that Disney recycles all these leftovers, but I still feel awful. Like, oh, they also have an omelet station.
I said that.
Oh, you did? Okay. They're cooking the omelet right in front of you, and I got one.
Yep.
But it's hard because I wanted a taste of an omelet. I didn't want a whole omelet. Well, I eat half the thing, and then I'm just setting the plate out with the other half that's going to go back into recycle, garbage, compost, whatever. And it's so, that's the only thing I think that's hard. You know, I think of something like you could go to, and I recommend this highly. I'll go back again. I love it. Yeah. It's well worth the cost.
Yes.
Well worth it.
Yes.
But it's hard when you think, all right, I could go to a Rainforest Cafe, spend probably a third of the money, have just as much food, but you're only getting one item. And so that's where I think these buffets and these family styles do reign supreme and are well worth the cost because you get to try so many things.
Right.
If I went to Cape May and was just like, yes, I'll have your breakfast taco, I eat that, and then I look at your plate and I'm like, oh man, you got biscuits and gravy? Yeah. I wish I had gotten that. Well, now you can have it all. So I would go here, 100%. I love it. I'm going to put it on pretty close to a level with Boma, but they're very different styles.
Yeah,
the offerings are very, very different.
Yeah,
but I think it's just as good as Boma in its own way, in a more traditional American way, as opposed to African Indian inspired breakfast. You can still get some of your standards at Boma that you can get here and vice versa, but 100%. They're two must-dos. And yeah, it was nice to fill our bellies this morning and drive home. So after 7 now, we're going to eat a little bit of dinner, but honestly, I think it's one of those where you could eat breakfast there and be like, I'm good for the day. Might have a snack later, but that's about it. Yeah. So, well, thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed these 2 episodes. I hope you've been enjoying these trip reviews. Yeah. We got one more coming up Thursday to Sunday. We'll see how much content comes out of that. That may be 1 episode. It may be 2 episodes. At least we know we have the schedule and the availability to record twice next week on different days. Yes. If we have to. But thank you for sitting with me for it now has been close to 3 hours recording. We're actually, I think, going to go finish laundry, eat dinner. Yep. Maybe put on a movie, relax, get some sleep tonight. We got 3 very full, busy days of work, and then we're back at it again. Yep. Cannot wait. So much of this, every food and wine dish that we did, every princess that walked in, and a lot more. The 2-bedroom Boulder Ridge Villa room tour. We did all of that to our Patreon group, Wonderland Crew, and our private Facebook group. And then I'll be downloading and uploading those videos to Patreon for anybody who's not in Facebook this week. If you want to see what next weekend is all about, camper rental adventures, you want to see the girls and see all the kinds of fun stuff we have. Yeah. Go ahead and check out wonderlandcrew.com. Of course, if you want to hear all these episodes and all these reviews and dining and trips and topics and fun and top 10 lists of all sorts, you can hit that subscribe button. You get the brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. Myself, Rhonda, all 4 animals that are in here at this office recording with us would also be super thankful if you could leave us a rating and review. Because it helps our show grow. That's all we've got. We'll see you real soon.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts. Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.